on today's episode of The Player Position is former Ireland international Keith Fahey. With nearing on 2 decades of experience playing at the highest levels of football, Keith opens up about some of the special moments within his career. From moving abroad aged 15, he joined St Pat's in the League of Ireland. After excelling there, Keith joined Birmingham City, with this goal securing them their place in the Premier League. Despite his on-field success, Keith is honest and vulnerable in his assessment of not just his career, but himself also. He explains how some of his best times on the pitch were some of his worst times off it. We also discuss playing for Ireland, man-marking Gareth Bale and winning the League Cup final against Arsenal. Whether it was at international level or in the Premier League, Keith held his own against some of the very best to ever play the game. Be sure to stick around for some fascinating insights into the player position. Keith, really appreciate your time for coming on. How are you keeping?
Good, grand, busy enough. Had a virus the last week, so just recovering from that a bit. But all is good. Busy here. New life in Spain. It's very good.
Are you living out in Spain now?
Yeah, moved to Spain last year. I met a girl online last March, and we're married and all now. So moved to
Whereabouts in Spain are you living?
I am in Valencia region now at the moment. Yeah, we were in Barcelona for a bit, so we moved to Valencia.
Oh, it's quality.
It's good, different way of life. It's very good. I have to learn the language. I know a little bit, but yeah, I'm lucky enough, Cecilia. My wife speaks fluent Spanish and fluent English. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
it's good to hear that. Suppose we'll just start from the beginning. So, you obviously started off playing for your local team, Time and Bond, and then the age of 12, then you joined Cherry Orchard. So how did that come about, and what were your memories when you look back at that time?
So yeah, in and around when I was a young fella, a kid going to school, I would have played a lot of football in the schoolyard with a tennis ball in my house, the utility room. I used to play a lot of football with my brother, his friends, and out on the road and all that. And played for Time and Bond, would have played a couple of years older than my own age group as well as my own age group. But good times, very happy with the football at my feet, very comfortable. And yeah, I used to love it. It was like my comfort blanket, really. And went to Cherry Orchard from Time and Bond at about 12 years of age, something like that. And they did want to sign me a couple of years before that, I think, and I didn't go, and anyway, so I ended up going at 12, and I remember getting the bus down to the lawns, sometimes a lot of time on my own and all. It was a scary experience, but that's how it came about. There was interest, like I would have been the best player at my team, Time and Bond, my local team, and any time we played in the lower leagues, so like I score like 50 goals a season, like from centre back. So there was obviously other clubs then interested in signing me and things like that. So so I didn't really probably get. We would have trained very simple. Like a lot of the stuff was just like putting on a session to enjoy. Loads of football, and it was great. Yeah, great times. Like I loved playing football in the yard with a tennis ball. Like I said, a lot. It was brilliant, and I think it served me when I went on. I was quite comfortable with the ball at my feet, so I can handle the football. So yeah.
Yeah, so then obviously from Cherry Orchard then to move to Arsenal at the age of just 15. How did that come about then? When did Cherry Orchard get in contact, or did Arsenal get in contact with Cherry Orchard? Or?
Yeah, so Adam, we around that time again, Arsenal came over and they put on coaching sessions with the DDSL, and I was in the squads and playing well again, I think, for Cherry Orchard, and I had been on trials for about 14, 15 different clubs in England, and Arsenal showed a big interest and they asked me to sign, and I was an Arsenal fan, and it was okay, didn't really negotiate, didn't say I want more. It was fairly I described it recently, I was fairly naive. My dad was fairly naive in it. We weren't out to get the most we could. Really, it was like, okay, here's a chance, and that's the way it was. It was kind of going into everything blind. Didn't have a big plan or anything. It was just like, okay, I've done well. This club wants to sign you, I'll move on now. And it was great, like, and also it was very scary as well, like very scary. But yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of it. I remember Liam Brady coming to my house, and we had a cup of tea, and I signed the contract, and that was it. Away I went. Like, like I said, there was no negotiating. There was like, this is what we're offering. Okay, I'll sign that and move on. Like, so, yeah, I think it's a lot different to how things are now. Like, so.
Yeah. How did you find moving? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Adam. Go on.
I was just gonna say, how did you find moving abroad to London? It's just the age of 15. That must have been a scary time, even though it was exciting at the same time.
Yeah, like that. It's like signing for Arsenal, going to play football in England, and getting all the gear and all. I loved all that. And then when you get over there, living in a digs like with someone you don't really know, and I was very shy and I didn't really mix with people well, right, that I didn't know, like, so I found it difficult. I cried a lot, like I used to cry a lot and wish to be at home, and then when I come home I didn't really want to go back, and I go back crying, but yeah, then like football, like when you're out on the training pitch, you're out playing each day, weekends and all, you forget about all that other stuff for them moments. But then afterwards, there's a big quiet time. It's like, okay, going back to this strange place with these strange people, and yeah, so it was a lot of time to fill, and again, it was very exciting, like great, and I was a footballer, like I had my identity, let's say, like I was a footballer, and yeah, I think I liked that part of it. I kind of felt I knew who I was then,
Yeah, and then you moved to Villa after that, but after a short time, you moved back to Bluebell at the age of 20. So from going to Arsenal at 15 to come back to Bluebell at the age of 20, that happens to so many young lads who go over to England at such a young age. Was it like you were talking there about how kind of scary it was? Was it more disappointment, or were you kind of relieved to be home at that stage at Bluebell?
Yeah, there was a bit of both, Adam. Really, like it was like I'm relieved of the pressure now, and then there was a big disappointment. Like I came home and I felt like I'd let people down, felt like I let myself down and all that type of thing. But I was a little bit relieved as well. Yeah, it was like, for me anyway, looking back on the past, I kind of could do things for a certain amount of time, and then I couldn't sustain it. Like, so, I came home then, yeah, disappointed, upset, and also relieved as well a little bit, to be honest. But like football again, like just kept creating a way for me to stay in the game, really, like people, and going to Bluebell like with a friend and playing a bit, and then not long at Bluebell I went back to Pats, and and then started to play first team football, and which was an enjoyable part of my life. Like the football then was good. It was great, challenging for league titles or competing at the top level. As a young fella as well, I was only about 20 years of age, I think. So it was good. It created a lifeline for me, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you're talking about rejoining St. Pat's. Like you had 5 years in the League of Ireland, then 2 before at Pat's, and then 1 at Drogheda. Do you feel like you really kind of built up your confidence as a player at that stage, because you came back, obviously you haven't had a good reputation as a young player, but then by the time you got to your final year, which was 2008, you were Player of the Year, 11 goals, great run in Europe. You'd had an unbelievable time. Do you feel like you really gained a lot of confidence during that time there?
Yeah, I think during that time, I think especially between leaving Drogheda and coming back to Pats, that couple of years and the few years before, yeah, it probably built a bit of hope in me, Adam, like confidence. I'd say I was a bit, I would say, cocky, like playing in the League of Ireland, because I felt I could play well against anyone and kind of run the game or whatever. I kind of had a bit of a cockiness about me, like really confident, if I could call it that, maybe. But I think it gave me more hope, Adam. Like, I think it gave me hope that I could actually go on and do something, and maybe go back to the bright lights of England again. And because I think, like, back then anyway, that's where everyone wanted to be. Like, they wanted to be in England, they wanted to be playing in front of bigger crowds, earn a few more bob in their back pocket, all that type of thing. And yeah, I think I was lucky again. My teammates, my manager, the managers I had were good to me, and fans and all that were good to me. And then the PFAI as well, getting the Player of the Year for me in the last year that I was in Ireland, it was good to I had a good momentum, I'd say, So it gave me a good bit of hope. And some people said some kind things to me over the years as well, which helped. Like, even now, I remember John Toll, who worked at Johnny McDonald, said to me, like, oh, look, you've had a good year or two, like, why not go and be the best midfielder in the league? And like, even them little things had a great effect on me, really. Like, and I remember now, I seen John Toll watching the Ireland match on telly, I seen him in the crowd, and it reminded me of that time as well, because like, the stuff I would have spoke to myself internally wasn't good. I would have been very hard on myself, and for someone to say that was like, okay, like, it's good that other people could see that in me, and it really helped me, like, so I'm very grateful.
Yeah. So then, the end of the 2008 season, obviously you'd had a great season, and then January 2009, you made the move to Birmingham. How did that come about? And there must have been multiple clubs in for you at that stage, because you'd been basically tearing up the League World.
Yeah, like, so there was rumours, clubs looking at me. We played Hertha Berlin, then there's stuff in the paper that they were interested, and Birmingham were the only club really that I think contacted Pats, and were able to strike up a deal. So that came about by being watched most of the season. They weren't quite sure, I don't think, about the standard I was playing in week to week, and I had goals. I added goals in the game in that season. Really, I hadn't got that before. I'd usually got 4 or 5 or 6, maybe a few free kicks, and I got like 11 goals that season. Yeah, and the European run, we done quite well. We played a team played in Latvia, and then we played a Swedish
Elfsborg.
team. Yeah. So, and there was real good momentum at the club then, and then we played Hertha Berlin, and we were unlucky, like, and I think off the back of all that, they could kind of look at me playing against a few internationals, really, and they took a punt on me, and thankfully things worked out as well. Things worked out for me, worked out for them, for Birmingham. Like, got a player for next to nothing in the Championship, went to the Premier League, won a cup, got relegated, the whole lot. They had a European run, and went on to make international appearances as well, which was great.
So yeah, then you make your debut at Cardiff, away to Cardiff, and 1-1 draw. Do you remember much from that day? And did you kind of feel like nervous leading up to the game? Obviously, it's such a high standard. Like, you played at high standards, but playing in the Championship, then did you expect to go straight in?
I think when I went to Birmingham, like, again, I was on a good run of form, having left the League of Ireland, and then I remember in training, I done well, and I enjoyed training a lot, so I was ready to play, and then there was a hold up of registration or something, so I couldn't play for a couple of weeks, and then I made my debut, and excited, and I was ready to get on the pitch, and just making sure I didn't do much wrong, and that was it. Yeah, from then on, I kind of was the mainstay in the team, and a couple of games on the bench, and more often than not, I started and contributed it as well. And promotion, the last 6 months, the first 6 months of me being there, I contributed well to the team and we got promoted. So yeah.
Yeah, you scored a few goals that season. Then the last day of the season to secure promotion, you get a goal and an assist as you beat Reading 2-1. That must have been a really, really big day for yourself. Probably one of the better ones of your career, I assume.
Yeah, it was. Again, like, I think the momentum brought me there, and we done well as a group to get promotion and to get it sealed before we were in the playoffs. We didn't need the playoffs, so it was good. And the last day of the season, yeah, a goal and an assist. I don't know how the goal went in. It was a big fluke. I mishit it kind of, and it kind of rolled along the floor, and the Reading goalkeeper, it let it through his body really, and 1-0. And then I got a good assist for Kevin Phillips for the winner. Ultimately made it 2-0, and then I think they scored late on. But yeah, it's great. It was good. It was great. It was a big distraction for me around the time as well. My father was dying. He was in hospital sick, and like that. The stuff on the pitch was going well, but off it like was a tough time, like, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that must have been a really tough time. But like you played then. You'd taken so well to the championship, having been playing in the League of Ireland. Obviously, you're playing one of the best teams in the League of Ireland. But what was that jump like from League of Ireland to the top of the championship? Did you feel like how did you end up taking to it so well?
Yeah, again, I remember Dave Partridge played at Pats when I was there, and he had played international level with Wales. And I remember saying something to me that I was good enough and all that. And I remember he said to me about James McFadden. He goes, "You're as good as him, don't worry." And then when I went and I seen, like, I trained with James McFadden, and he was unbelievable, really, like, you know. So he said this thing to me to give me a bit of confidence, like, to help me. But we laughed about it afterwards. But yeah, I think going over on the momentum I was on, and the team doing well, it was good. It was pretty graceful. Like, it wasn't overly challenging football wise. Like, it was good. It was the level I was kind of at, and I had worked hard to get there. And so I think the next level up, the Premier League, was a different story. Like, I would have been a decent championship player in the Premier League. Like, I was a bit of a bystander, really. I adapted my game. I became kind of like a defensive wide player. So, but I was happy to be in the team. I was happy to be in and around the team and involved, and also to get another contract as well, which was very important. And so, yeah, it was a good. There was a lot of grace in it, really, a lot of hard work, and I deserved to be where I was, really, like, you know. So yeah.
Your manager at that time was Alex McLeish. What was he like with you when you came in and over the coming years then?
He was good, yeah. Alec McLeish, he was very good to me, signed me, and played me more often than not as well. And I remember when I went, Roy Aiken was his assistant as well, and there was a good atmosphere at the club, and there was good atmosphere in training and in around training. So it was good. They were very good to me, yeah. Andy Watson as well, and Dave Watson, goalkeeping coach. So we had a good group. It was good. It was an enjoyable time, and some good lads as well in the changing rooms and that. Like, so it was a good time, yeah.
So then going to the second season, you'd only been there for 6 months, and now you're in the Premier League. So you've gone from the League of Ireland to the Premier League in such a short amount of time. How did you feel kind of getting promoted, knowing you were going to be a Premier League player? Did it feel like you'd really made it?
Yeah, it felt a bit surreal. Like, even looking back now, you're going, like, we all put superstar footballers on pedestals, and like the first game that I played in the Premier League, playing against Paul Scholes, Wayne Rooney, and you're just pinching yourself a little bit. You know, again, I would have just tried to do my job, not make any mistakes, and I would have been happy with that. And that's the way the game kind of went. They done okay. We lost 1-0 to Man United at Old Trafford. And yeah, it was kind of, it is a bit surreal even looking back on it, really. It just shows you like the work you do behind the scenes really pays off. Like that kicking the ball around the schoolyard, playing football with my brother and his friends out on the road, time bond, Cherry Orchard, like it all served the bigger purpose really to bring me where I was. Like it didn't just happen overnight, and um, yeah, very grateful. Like again, looking back, it's a bit like did that really happen? But yeah, very grateful to football and the people in it that were good to me along the way, and teammates and managers and all that.
And then, when you were stepping out, week in, week out against a Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, did you feel any more pressure than when you were playing in the Championship or in the League of Ireland, or was it just another game of football to you?
I would have Adam, yeah. I felt a lot of pressure like that. There's 50,000, 60,000 watching you. Um, everything you do is scrutinised, like through analysis as well. Like so, you can't. There's no hiding place. And going from the League of Ireland to first of all Championship, then Premier League, it was a big jump. It did happen with me momentum. We say that again. But yeah, I would have been a bit more of a safer player. Like I didn't take a lot of chances. I generally tried to win the ball back for us and then keep the ball. Like, and that's what I did. So going from Championship to Premier League like that, you're playing against Gareth Bale, like you're playing against Steven Gerrard, like all these players, and my job really was to defend. Usually myself and Liam Ridgewell playing on the left side down the left with Birmingham. We did okay together and we weren't very creative, but we did a job that we needed to do. Like, and we were a very successful team as well. Like we finished ninth in the Premier League, I think the highest finish. And then things kind of changed a little bit. There was a bit of tweaking at Birmingham around that time, and whatever happened the second season, we won a cup and then we got relegated, and that was unfortunate. But it was good, great times for Birmingham, the fans, and everyone involved as well. Like brilliant.
Bill, like you said, like you were basically a mainstay in that team. You had 34 appearances in the league that season. You touched there on Bale and Gerrard. Was there any player that stood out as a player you just thought was really a level above? Would it have been like the likes of them, or would there have been someone else?
Yeah, I remember watching actually from the sideline down in Chelsea in Stamford Bridge. We played, and Ballack played in the middle. But I remember looking from the side how good they were as a team, like, and he was just orchestrating everything. And it was the first time I noticed how well tuned in that all of them were. Like you could see the whole team moving at the same time and in patterns and that. Like so that was yeah, that was good to see. And we like played against very good players. Gareth Bale, I mentioned him because again, I think I got put on the right at the time we marked him because I was doing such a good job defending on the left. I think we played him and I got put on the right side to mark him. So yeah, look, I think the difference between Championship and Premier League for me anyway was a massive jump, and I'd say I'm privileged that I could say I played in the Premier League. I got a good few appearances. I got one goal, I think, and I'd be happy with that, like considering.
Yeah. So then the end of that season, like you'd been playing every game in that really good Birmingham team, and then you get the call to your first Ireland senior call-up. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I remember. I think I was out somewhere doing a bit of shopping, like grocery shopping or something. I got a call, and I remember obviously being happy and thinking, okay, this is the next progression. And again, every time I was in the squad, I trained well, and then when I was on the pitch playing or coming on as a sub, I just made sure I didn't make mistakes. When I scored a goal against Armenia, which is remembered, and got a couple of other goals in friendlies. But again, a short time in the Irish setup for me. It was nice, and I can say that I played for Ireland, a few caps and all that, which is always nice.
And was it when you got that call when you were grocery shopping? Was that Trapattoni who called you, or was that someone else?
To be honest, it wasn't Trapattoni anyway, but I can't remember who called me, Adam. I don't know. I can't remember who. Probably someone that I think they had someone to do the calls or
Yeah.
whatever.
And then, obviously you were 27 at that time, so it wasn't like you were like a kid coming in. Like, you were an experienced player with a lot of games under your belt. But what were the lads like in the squad around a new player? Like, were they welcoming, or what kind of way was it?
Yeah, the group was really good. Like, again, I got in at a good time. Robbie Keane, Damien Duff, Shay Given, they were all still around. Kevin Caban, and so they were very welcoming to anyone coming into the squad. And always, I think, yeah, I've good memories of people being very welcoming. So it was great. Yeah, they're always welcome to see new players coming in as well. Like, so, yeah.
And obviously Trapattoni was the manager, and like, he had a lot of success at the time, obviously getting us to the Euros. What did you think of him as a manager, and like in terms of his man management? Was he good with you and with the other lads?
Man management, I'm not sure at the international level. Like, I think he would pick a squad, and you turn up, like, you turn up and ready to train, ready to be involved, hopefully for games. But yeah, again, happy to be there. And yeah, I wasn't looking to see how they were managing me, anyone else, or anything like that. But successful, yes, and then successful now overnight, and he moved on. Like, so, but that's football. Like, you have a moment, or you have a little spell where things are good, and things can change very suddenly. Like, change a manager for a player or whatever, and a change of results for a manager, and that's what ultimately happened. So, yeah.
And you made your debut in the RDS. You beaten Paraguay 2-1. Do you have many memories of that day? And it must have been a really proud moment for your family and everything, with just playing for Ireland for the first time.
Do you know what, Adam? I don't really remember. I have to be honest. I don't remember. I do get it wrong when people ask me who I made the debut against, because I know we played Algeria. I thought it was Algeria, and then we played Algeria around the same time. It was a double fixture thing, and like that, I remember coming on for Damien Duff. I had pictures of it, but other than that, I don't really remember, to be honest. I remember being happy, being involved with the squad and getting a picture in the gear and all that. Them kind of things you kind of want as a child. And the stuff around the game, preparing for it, I don't remember. I don't remember at all, really. Like any game, I would have prepared as best I could. And planned and wanted to do everything meticulously beforehand, so yeah, I'm sure it's similar.
And like you said there, you scored out in Yerevan to beat Armenia 1-0. But overall, in that Euro 2012 qualifying campaign, like, you played a big part. Like, do you feel kind of aggrieved when you look back and you got an injury just before the tournament? Like, that must have been a hard time for you, like, coping with that.
Yeah, look, I think I was upset. I was very upset, but look, it just wasn't to be. I was involved in the qualifying. It was great, and I was happy. And then the injury, I had been playing, I think, from the start of the season. I had groin surgery. Um, Managed to play a good chunk of the season, a lot of it, and we were playing the championship. We played something like 60 odd games that year, and then towards the end, I started to tear me groin again, and then I was trying to recover from that. Missed the playoffs with Birmingham, and then came in, wasn't quite ready, pushed myself, and then first day I tried to train, I tore my groin again. So like that, I think I kind of knew anyway. That was where I was at. So yes, it was upsetting, but that's where I was at, and that's what happened ultimately. Like so, yeah.
And then moving on to this, your second full season at Birmingham. Obviously, the big moment of that is the League Cup win against Arsenal. Did you feel really nervous for that game, like knowing you're going to be playing in a final in front of 90,000 people? Like, what were the emotions the days leading up to it?
I think Alec McLeish named the team a few days before the game. I think he named it on the Monday, so I knew I was going to be playing. I was happy, and it was again just about preparing and the way I would for any other game. But yeah, it was a big game, but we weren't favourites. We were the underdogs, so it kind of suited us, you know.
And like you said, there was obviously Arsenal are the big favourites going into a game like that. Obviously you ended up winning it in the end, but was there a lot of belief you felt from the staff, the players, the manager, leading up to the game, that you felt you really could win it?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, absolutely. I think any manager in any game can nearly make you think you're going to win the game. Like that's their job. But yeah, Alec McLeish and staff and all they put a bit of hope in us that we were able to go and win, and we did. Like ultimately, like so. Yeah, great day at the club. Everyone involved.
And like I said, with the Premier League, did you feel like it was a lot of pressure stepping out, or is it just like nerves and then you get your first few touches and then you just feel like it's another game of football?
Yeah, I think your first pass is important. First pass, or some people, it's a tackle. Like for me, it wasn't a tackle anyway. It's a first pass, and try and build a little bit of confidence and try and keep that going. Like so, yeah. We had a tough team to play against. Like Robin van Persie, I think Bakary Sagna played right back. Yeah, Wilshire. So they some right good players. Like again, just happy it's finished and happy it's done and happy happy to look back on it.
And then Obafemi Martins comes on for you and scores the goal. Do you remember the moment when he scored the goal, or what you felt?
Um, Probably happy, yeah, happy. I don't really remember again. I come off at about 83 minutes, I think. Having played a good chunk of the game wide left and then moved into the middle, so my legs were gone. We got lucky with the bounce of a ball and like that. He tapped it into an empty net and we celebrated. So it was a good time.
And how did it feel to actually like get that winner's medal around your neck? Like, it's a serious trophy to win, you know? Like, what did you feel when you actually got your hands on it?
Um, yeah, to go through the thing of shaking the trophy around and great, happy. Nice to get a medal. Nice to play in a showcase game like 90,000 in Wembley. So yeah, all good, happy, and relieved. Same as always, really.
And then after finishing up at Birmingham, then you returned to St. Pat's after obviously a few years away. And you won the 2014 FAI Cup. 53 years the club have been waiting to win that.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was a bit of a sense of kind of unfinished business there? Is that why you wanted to come back, or did you just want to return to Pats?
Yeah, look, I think it's no secret that I felt comfortable at Pats. I was there 4 times in my career. I was there as an 18-year-old as well. And I came back to Pats. And yeah, I did, suppose, like looking back, I did. I had unfinished business or whatever. I got sent off in 2003. I let myself down. I let everyone down, really. And I carried that, so it was good that we got a chance as a group to win the cup after so long, and for myself personally then to make amends as well, make amends to myself, to the fans and all that, and have a part in winning the cup, which was such a long wait. Yeah.
And did you feel like that obviously one of the things with Pats is you've got such a great relationship with the fans there. Like, did you feel like that's one of the places that you felt most comfortable playing during your career?
Yeah, I did. I felt comfortable playing at Pats. I think when I played there in the early 20s up until I went back to England, my dad used to come to all the games and friends would go to the games. And yeah, it was comfortable. Like only traveling down from Tala, like it's only 10 minutes down the car. And it was a good time. It was a good moment, football wise and all that. So yeah, I would have felt comfortable. And I would have felt the love from people at Pats as well, like which was good. I needed it, and it was a good time, yeah, for me football, yeah.
And did you realise, having won the cup that day, how big of a deal it was to the people, not just the fans, but the people within the club? You know, they waited so long and lost a good couple of finals. Like, did you realise kind of the significance of it at the time?
I wouldn't, to be honest, Adam. Like again, it was business for me. I wanted to go back and had a chance to make amends, like I said, and that was it. Look, I messed up in the past. I'm sorry, and having a chance to win the cup was great for me personally. For other people, like we all have our own experiences with things. So for fans, you could tell like people were like so happy and it was such a long time, yes, and he came close a couple of times as well in the past, and so yeah, I think for me again it was like okay, thank you, like and sorry for 2003 really, because like that if I just talk about that for a second, like the tackle that I tried to put in was outrageous, really, and it wasn't a good moment for me. It wasn't a good moment for people watching and stuff like. So it was good to go back and have some part in winning the cup as well with the group. So for me, I could let go then of the past a little bit, like and move on, like you know.
Yeah, so it was 2008 until 2014. You were gone from the League of Ireland. When you returned to the league, just as a league overall, not just Pats, did you feel like the standard of the league had improved or anything, or did you feel like it was kind of in the same place as it was when you left 6 years before?
Um, I don't think I was in the same place before I left. Like I had been on a momentum, been on a trajectory of doing well, going away. I had me moment. I had me, say me 15 minutes of fame or whatever. And then I come back to Pats and like that, I was back in familiar surroundings really. And I'm not sure, maybe something in me had changed and maybe I wasn't ready to let go of where I was. So I might have looked at things and hoped that they were different and all that. But look, ultimately, I went from Pats, went to Birmingham, done very well, came back, and I had my moment. Like it was time looking back, really. It was probably time for me to start settling and start to look for something new, really. But in that moment, I was probably still stuck a little bit in the 15 minutes of fame, but it was finished really, and I should have been looking for something to do. And but after football at that stage, I think I was 31 or something, and I had a few injuries, joints, me hip, me knee, not good, me groins, me toe. So it was probably the writings on the wall that I was going to retire, like. But yeah, it was hard. Then I think that was the beginning for me of actually starting to grieve football, starting to move on. But like everything, I didn't want to let go of it without a bit of a fight, like you know. So yeah,
Yeah, like a lot of players you do hear saying that it is like grieving, retiring. Like I can't imagine. There's probably no buzz like playing in front of 40 or 50,000 people. Like, did you find it really hard to let go towards the end of your career of playing football because it's all you'd known really since you were a child?
yeah, Adam, it was difficult, and like that, I wasn't aware. It was my identity. I wasn't aware of these things. I wasn't aware of like. what I really thought about myself until it was gone. Like until football was gone, it was like right. I was uncomfortable. People would say, "Are you the footballer?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm not the footballer." Like, but it was difficult. I went through a lot. Like since retiring, like I ended up in a rehab centre. I done a lot of therapy on myself, and ultimately I was able to let go of the footballer tag and move on. But it was very difficult since retiring. It's like I said, there was a moment when I probably should have started looking at it, but I didn't, and it was I had to let go of it eventually to move on, like and move on, let go, and like that. Very practically, it kind of happened. Um, I wanted to meet someone, and like I was in the same circles all the time. I wasn't getting out of them circles, and I wasn't really enjoying the whole thing of being so competitive and all that. And yeah, and then I just decided, look, I'm done with that. And then things started to change and things started to get better. Do you know, like, it really did. Like, and when I let go of football, I've moved on and I started moving into different groups. And ultimately, I'm now living in Spain, learning the language. I've since got married to one of a woman, and life has moved on a great deal, really. And it's yeah, and it's all because I've let go. You know, it's
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's great to hear because, like you said, so many footballers do struggle with that. Like when you look now, do you feel obviously you're out of football a good few years now? Do you ever still watch a match and think, "Oh, I really wish I was playing in that"? In a when you watch a League Cup final, for instance, do you think back or do you just think, "No, that part of my life is done now"?
yeah. I think like I'd watch the League of Ireland recreationally, like, and keep an eye on it, and I'd say, I'd like to get in there and see how good things are, or how good I am, or how good I was, and stuff like that. But like that, not with any sort of envy or anything like that, just out of curiosity. But I'd watch. I'm still an Arsenal fan. I still kind of I keep an eye on them, and I watch them more so than any other team. But it's nice to recreationally watch it, and I enjoy watching the build up and the analysis and things like that. I actually probably enjoy that more, and it's not about tactics or any of that sort of stuff. I like to see how people are interacting and how they're talking and things like that. So yeah, and that's good that I can still watch it and I'm not hurt or I'm not. Oh, I wish I was playing or anything like that. You have great memories, but like that, I've let go and I've moved on, and whatever the future is for me, we'll wait and see.
Yeah. All right, Keith, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate your time and everything, and it's been great. So, thanks so much for everything.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for asking me to do the interview and giving us a platform to look back on my career. So thanks, pal.